18. There is the Scottish side preparing. That's mostly the substitutes. There are the Matildas already on the bench. And some very familiar faces there, including some just recently called up. Amy Sayer, we just saw, arrived midweek from Stanford University, where she plays her football, called up to replace Caitlin Ford, the Arsenal star who's pulled out with a hamstring strain. The Matildas will be wearing their brand new kit, which certainly got fans excited when it was announced in midweek. It will be the away kit this evening, so both sides turning out in away strips for this match, where I guess in theory both are playing away from home. Although many players for both sides ply their trade in the Women's Super League in England. It will be the blue away kit for the Matildas this evening. Goalkeeper Mackenzie Arnold in coral is the official term for this fifth meeting between the two sides. And here they come for this huge friendly match, just 3 months out from the World Cup. They're currently at 1 win apiece and 2 draws. Historically, the last in 2015, a 1-1 draw between these two sides. And since it's international football, let's now get ready for the national anthems.
Standing the national anthem of Australia and Scotland.
we got there in the end with the Australian anthem. Kickoff is coming right up. Well, as you can see, conditions absolutely perfect in London. We're in Wimbledon at Plough Lane. 14 degrees Celsius. A few clouds about, as you can see, but just about picture perfect. Our referee is Louise Thompson. She's being assisted by Sari Williams and Lisa Rashid. The fourth official is Emily Heaslip. While we await our two captains, familiar faces to Australian fans and A-League fans as well. Claire Polkinghorne, the all-time most appearances for the Matildas, and opposite Claire Emsley, who famously scored at the last World Cup for Scotland. Well, we'll have a look at the lineups now for these two sides. The big news for the Matildas is there's no Sam Kerr at kickoff, but Ellie Carpenter is back. In goal, Mackenzie Arnold continuing, while in front of her, so Ellie Carpenter returning after almost a year to the day of a knee reconstruction. Cap number 154 for Polkinghorne in the centre of defence alongside Claire Hunt. Charlotte Grant moves to left back as well in the absence of Steph Catley. In midfield, Gorry and Cooney Cross. Up front, it's Larissa Crummer who gets the nod in the absence of Sam Kerr. For Scotland and their Spanish coach Pedro Martino Losa, 8 changes from the side that drew 1-1 with Wales. There's no captain Rachel Corsie or Chelsea star Erin Cuthbert, but Carolyn Weir is there alongside debutante 17-year-old Emma Watson in the middle of the park. And there is one Sam Kerr starting the game, as you just saw, in the centre of defence, the Scottish Sam Kerr in that number 6 role for Scotland. And perhaps the commentator's nightmare will arrive in the second half. We'll have Sam Kerr versus Sam Kerr, and that's when we move to middle names. Big afternoon here in London for the Matildas. It was all about the full dress rehearsal 3 months out from the World Cup. That's been put on hold, but still plenty to play for, and perhaps points to be made by some of these players. It's Scotland that get us underway against a Matildas side orphaned at kickoff of star striker Sam Kerr, who is on the bench. Arsenal duo Steph Catley and Caitlin Ford are both absent through injury. So it's a new look Matildas, who are looking to make the most of this opportunity against a Scotland side, Grace Gill, who missed out on the World Cup, but are also looking to rebuild and continue what is a Great Britain football on the rise.
Well, good evening, Robbie, and what an opportunity not only for our Matildas this evening, but also for Scotland, recovering from the heartbreak, the failure to qualify for the Women's World Cup would be fresh in their minds as well. And the opportunity to have a game against the Matildas is a perfect time for them to try and turn that around and get back to some winning ways.
Well, just one win in the last 3 in the Pinatar Cup in Spain for Scotland. Far cry from the form that the Matildas are showing at the moment. 3 wins in a row to secure the Cup of Nations. Before that, Thailand, Sweden, Denmark and South Africa, all beaten by the Matildas on that 7-game winning streak. And we just saw a glimpse of her early on, but great to see Ellie Carpenter at right back. In the absence of Steph Catley at left back as well, some talk that we could have seen Courtney Nevin, who plays left back in the English WSL for Leicester City. But it was Charlie Grant preferred to left back, where She has also been playing left back at club football in Sweden, where there are 3 Aussies these days. Claire Polkinghorn and Katrina Gorry. And another chance perhaps for Larissa Crummer up front, and Mary Fowler as well in that number 10 role with the gloves on. Some players from down under just can't get used to the cold of Europe, even if 14 is really quite mild for London.
I was about to say it's quite a balmy afternoon, 14 degrees Celsius, but the player you mentioned there, and Larissa Crummer, look, it's a huge opportunity this afternoon for Crummer. We've seen in various iterations of Tony Gustafsson's squad her start at a right fullback or on the wing. So to start in what is her preferred position, where she does play in the A-League in Australia for Brisbane Roar up front as a striker, as a number 9, and now she has a chance to do that with the national team. So for her, this is a prime opportunity to try and establish herself in this Matildas squad. But obviously Tony Gustafsson has a lot of faith in her ability.
Now ball down the right-hand side with Kirsty Hansen. And a first attack for Scotland, the ball in, Carpenter's header. Finds Mary Fowler and she gets it out to Courtney Vine. The Sydney FC flyer. She is lightning quick, Courtney Vine. She's got Carpenter ahead of her down the right-hand side. Scored a couple of great goals for Sydney on the weekend, Vine, before jumping on the plane in the middle of the night. You can hear Tony Gustafsson there telling Grant, pass and move with Hayley Raso on the left wing, for the time being anyway. Kyra Cooney-Cross, who certainly appears to have made that central midfield place her own, alongside Katrina Gorry. Ellie Carpenter. There she is. Tony Gustafsson said in the pre-match press conference some of her physical tests have come back showing she's even stronger in some departments than she was before she ruptured her anterior cruciate ligament. Grant for Raso. Strong challenge. Across there. Here is Cooney-Cross. Hunt with Carpenter into the feet of Crummer. No foul. You could hear the referee there. Almost sounds mic'd up. Now over the top. It's a good ball for Weir, the former Manchester City star, who now plays for Real Madrid and is enjoying a fine season, her first in Spain. One of the dangers in this Scottish side.
Yes, she is well and truly. Her statistics, she's returning in Liga F for Real Madrid. Her contributions, 14 goals, 10 assists for the season. She's a mainstay in that side, and well known that too to Hayley Raso, Alana Kennedy of Manchester City, having formerly played at the club. I think with the likes of Erin Cuthbert out for Scotland this evening, Carolyn Weir will be all the more important.
Nicola Doherty at left back. Alongside her in the centre of defence, Emma McCandy, Sophie Howard. Right back, Fiona Brown. In what looks like a 4-3-3, perhaps at times in defence, a 4-5-1 for Scotland. Carpenter with Gorry. Polkinghorn with Grant. Raso back. Grant into the middle with Fowler. Important night for Mary Fowler, who's lost her place in the starting 11. And that pass just under hit. with the Matildas, and she's not started a match for Manchester City either so far this season. 9 appearances, all off the bench, just the 1 assist, and 130 minutes in total. So it's been slim pickings for her.
Yeah, frustrating for Mary Fowler, moving across from the French league with Montpellier and looking to establish herself in English football, and she certainly hasn't had the minutes, the time that she would have liked at Manchester City, and all the contributions coming off the bench. So to get this opportunity tonight for the Matildas, look, she'll be looking to have an impact and to prove to Tony Gustafsson that she deserves to be back in the starting side. We forget still how young Mary Fowler is, just recently turning 20. She's still well and truly the baby of this squad.
And an immensely talented footballer as well. Hansen does well. Cooney Cross back helping out, and she's fouled then by Hansen, who claims she got the football, but not enough for the referee's liking.
It was an important intervention by Cooney Cross on occasion. Hansen just a bit too physical in that challenge, but look, it won't be the last we see of physical challenges from Scotland tonight. They're a strong team. They'll look to get stuck in. They do play with great physicality as well.
And in that respect, as you mentioned in the pre-game show, a great test with Ireland in mind for that opening game of the World Cup. Now space for Carpenter. She loves to stride forward. Now outside with Vine, who is narrowing in. Carpenter again, one way then the other. It's a lovely turn. And then across towards the back post where Rasso was lurking. It's out for the first corner of the match.
Well, they're those driving runs that Matildas fans have missed seeing from Ellie Carpenter. And the release pass from Katrina Gorry was especially impressive. At Carpenter driving into space and having the likes of Courtney Vine to play into. The speed between those two players alone, well, that could shape up to be quite a brilliant partnership.
And that's the form of Courtney Vine, of Hayley Rasso. Comes into that discussion with Mary Fowler as well in those wide roles, because as we see Gorry's cross in towards Crummer. Now back post, Rasso with Fowler. She hits it, deflected. It'll be another corner. But so many of the Matildas' front line have been firing. Sam Kerr, who's moved on to 62 international goals. Caitlin Ford as well. There just hasn't been place for Mary Fowler. Not in the starting lineup in recent months anyway.
That's a competitive midfield to try and break into for Mary Fowler. Last starting for the side against Czechia in the Cup of Nations.
Cooney Cross, bouncing ball, Howard's header. Back in from Crummer, who does have great height. Good feet from Ellie Carpenter. Just over Fowler. How about that for a control by Gorry. Grant all the way back. And a first touch of the football, a first real touch for Mackenzie Arnold. Player of the tournament at the Cup of Nations. Despite a free scoring Matilda's side. That's nicely done by Grant. And that unfamiliar, at least at national team level, left back roll. Looking for Vine, it's well intercepted. Now the 17-year-old Emma Watson. Brown, who can play higher up the field and will look to be an attacking right back. McCandy. Back for Gibson. Well, I mentioned the new vocabulary that Tony Gustafsson has brought to the Matildas, as Carpenter had to be careful. And Cooney Cross gets there. It is a technical football, isn't it, with Tony Gustafsson? It's lots of sports science, managing loads, minutes of players to prevent injury and analyse and Lots of triggers, as he just heard there, for when to press, when to pull back. Gorry looks up for Courtney Vine. Brings it down now, looking for Cromer. Vine again. Rasso turns one way, then the other. Oh, nice feet from Mary Fowler, but brought it back into a dangerous part of the field. Now Rasso, she's fouled on the edge of the box. Made the most of the contact. Free kick for the Matildas.
It was good attacking play from the Matildas. A foul there from McCandy given away against Hayley Rasso in a really dangerous area of the pitch just outside the 18-yard box, and ordinarily we'd see a Steph Catley lining up behind this kind of kick, but without Catley available tonight, Katrina Gorry will stand over the ball. But there are some promising signs, promising touches in there from the Matildas. Good combinations between Hayley Rasso, Mary Fowler, some nice tidy touches down the middle of the park.
It was the 17-year-old Emma Watson who was dispossessed by Hayley Rasso, who brings that energy to the Matildas game. And Katrina Gorry, well, she brings a catalogue of long-distance goals and set pieces. She dinks it over the top to the back post, where Rasso and Hunt were arriving. And in the end, I think Hunt almost got in the way of Hayley Rasso, who could only timidly chest the ball towards the goal.
Well, it was a great chance for the Matildas. Good far post runs, just a bit of miscommunication between the two there. I don't think either knew much about the other.
Well, communication so important, and you don't want to be ruining missed chances like that come World Cup time. It was a very nicely worked move as well. Great delivery from Gorry, two completely unmarked at the back post, so they'd worked it out exactly what they wanted to do, executed it nearly perfectly. And there is Pedro Martinez Losa, the Spanish coach since 2021 of the Scottish national team. There was a yellow card in there for Emma McCandy for that foul earlier on that led to the free kick as well. May have been even more dangerous had this been a fully competitive match, because she was very close to being the last defender. Rasso again diving in. Hansen comes away with it though. Howard, who's actually a German youth international before switching allegiances to Scotland at senior level.
You mentioned too, Robbie, teammate at Leicester City of Courtney Nevin on the bench today for the Matildas, as well as Remy Simpson. Still in the fold around the Matildas, but hasn't been called up to a recent squad with Tony Gustafsson.
Fowler and Vine between them, dispossessing Sam Kerr. Carpenter again closed down by Emsley. Hunt, good ball into the feet of Vine, trying to control the pass back to Carpenter. There are a few teammates amongst these squads. Emma McCandy as well. He spent a long time at Arsenal before heading to Tottenham as well. There she is, the number 3. Known for much of her career as Emma Mitchell before getting married. The number 3 for Scotland. It's not often you see foul throws awarded at international football. There's another chance for a foul there. Carolyn Weir dragging back. She'll be a little bit lucky to escape a booking there.
I was about to say the exact thing. She's been a little bit testy there, Carolyn Weir. The tug of the shirt of Katrina Gorry. I imagine that will be well and truly her last warning.
Polkinghorne, who overtook Cheryl Salisbury as the most capped Matilda of all time in the Cup of Nations. You can see that left hand strapped there of Hayley Raso as well, broken against Spain in the Cup of Nations.
It was a handbrake that put her out for a couple of weeks with Manchester City. Before that, strapping just had a bit of a temporary cast on it when she could return to play. You can see she's still just nursing it somewhat in tackles, in challenges.
Well, let's face it, a bone is 6 weeks to knit. And it's only just been 6 weeks since the Cup of Nations. And this final international window, of course, England on Wednesday, and then it's France a week before the World Cup begins on the 14th of July in Melbourne. Hemsley, who scored Scotland's first ever World Cup goal, as here's Vine accelerating, getting it wide for Raso, who anticipated well and cut inside Brown. Now Crummer keeping the pressure on. Hansen conceding the throw, and as you could hear from Tony Gustafsson, much better.
And Scotland have defended there well, needed to. A bit of a scramble to get back in to put that pressure on Hayley Raso.
Now we're going to have a corner for Katrina Gorry to take for the Matildas. Karakuni Cross is there. Good look at those new away kits on the Matildas in the area. Gorry's ball near post. Ooh. Not sure that's entirely what Claire Polkinghorne was hoping to do with that touch.
Away kits for both the Matildas and for Scotland, showing off their new second Adidas purple away kit.
Just the 2 international major tournament appearances for Scotland. 2017 at the Euros, where they recorded their first ever win, a 1-0 victory over Spain. 2017 seems a long time ago now. That was a Spain that was only just beginning their incredible growth period. Wasn't that long ago though. There's Vine, great turn. The cross in, but it's just travelled out of play for a goal kick claimed by Lee Gibson.
It's just a glimpse of the pace that Courtney Vine possesses just off one step. She's able just to provide herself a bit of separation from her opponent, and Scotland here looking to play out under high pressure. You can hear the calls of Tony Gustafsson asking for that press.
And I suspect that's one of the reasons why Larissa Crummer was... Oh, as there's Emma Watson has caught Katrina Gorry there. The referee's allowed play to continue. Here goes the 17-year-old. Outside with Emsley. Taking on Carpenter. Oh, and how about that? Stood up. Gave her only one option. And then just stole the ball away. Down in front of the officially Scottish supporters area. The Aussies, you'll see a bit more golden wattle up the other end on that far side of the pitch.
Of course, Claire Emsley familiar to a lot of these players too, having spent time with Melbourne City in the A-League Women's 2019-20 season, and a mainstay in the Scottish women's national team.
Five goals in 12 appearances for Melbourne City.
Not a bad return.
Little dink over the top for Weir. Now that left foot can produce a good pass, and nearly did there for Emsley. Flag up for offside. Midway through the first half, the Matildas with that best chance of the game so far from that set piece. We've seen a fair bit of Pedro Martinez Losa. We've heard a lot of Tony Gustafsson as well in this opening 25 minutes. That's nicely done by Gorry, and again the foul going against Sam Kerr.
It's proven to be a fairly physical midfield battle. Gorry on a couple of occasions has ended up on the deck. Sam Kerr, physicality as well from Kirsty Hansen on a few occasions. Don't hesitate to get stuck into some of those challenges.
If there's one thing Katrina Gorry doesn't mind, that's getting dirty and stuck into the challenges as well. You can see as well, so hard to dispossess, and fantastic vision to find and release Carpenter. Now Vine, overlapping run. Oh, but overhit from Courtney Vine. And these are the openings where you really need to take advantage.
The groans of disappointment from the crowd there, and look, if anyone can produce an overlapping run from Courtney Vine, it is Ellie Carpenter, but on that occasion the weight of the pass just asking a little bit too much of Carpenter.
That has to be one of the most attacking right sides in international football. Hunt back with Carpenter again, all the way back to Arnold. Preferred to Lydia Williams in goal. It's a fourth start in a row for Mackenzie Arnold. Talking about attacking fullbacks, Charlotte Grant loves getting forward as well. She's really grown as a player over the last 12 months in the absence of Ellie Carpenter in that right back position normally.
I mentioned in the pre-show as well that it really is wonderful to see Charlotte Grant rewarded and retaining a spot in the side rather, on the left hand side, albeit, but she has worked so hard and proved herself. I think she's perfectly capable on the left too, and this is a great opportunity.
Throw for Fiona Brown. Plays a football for Rosengard along with Tegan Micah. She's been there for over 5 years now, Fiona Brown.
Yeah, into her 6th season at FC Rosengard, and a really experienced player. She's had a few frustrating injury woes with her knees, but great to see her back playing. And again as well for Scotland, she's so important, especially with a couple of those more experienced players unavailable. To have Fiona Brown back playing more regularly, it's wonderful to see.
Well, we were very lucky and honoured to be joined by Jen Beattie in the pre-game show, the retired Scotland player. But there's also the likes of Christy Grimshaw, who's not here, Christy Murray as well, Erin Cuthbert we mentioned, and Rachel Corsie from Aston Villa as Hansen. Oh, look at the space in the area now for Martha. Martha Thomas with the shot, and Mackenzie Arnold called into action for the first time this evening.
Well, it was a poor giveaway from the Matildas there. And Scotland were able to capitalise. Martha Thomas looked up and almost couldn't believe the amount of time and space she had. Mackenzie Arnold, though, what's been a relatively quiet opening passage, is called into action and was able to strongly parry that one away.
Now, the corner in, Polkinghorne's initial header. Russo's wasn't great. Mary Fowler gets a bit more distance on it. And then Hansen clears. Martha Thomas' last goal came against the Faroe Islands in September of last year, her 10th international goal, but just one so far this season in the league for Manchester United, who have just moved top of the league in England.
It's a good position to be, good team to be with as well. Martha Thomas playing alongside some of the Lionesses. Alessia Russo as well, and her strike partner. She's certainly in good company.
Charlie Grant a little bit bemused how that decision went Scotland's way. Oh, Polkinghorn not disputing it that much. Maybe just grazing. The new blue shirt on its way past. That's well cleared by Claire Hunt. Rumoured to be on her way to Europe as well, to be the latest Matilda on the way for the moment. She and Courtney Vine, the A-League based players in this starting 11. Hansen, that's nicely done against Grant. Manages to get the cross in as well. And there's Martha Thomas. Well, how would that have been for a goal? Lovely first control, and then on the volley looking for the far corner. Oh.
That's a great look for Scotland. Hansen had to be innovative on that cross. And Martha Thomas, that was a delightful first touch. Just caught the ball on the rise, but got to say the Matildas, just for the last couple of moments, there's been a couple of shaky minutes. They've looked under a little bit more threat than what they have in the opening 25 or so. Scotland pressing well.
Yeah, the high press, which is a good challenge for the Matildas to try and pass out of, because we know there is going to be pressure in the World Cup. Here they come again, though. The cross behind Weir and behind Emsley. And now Kerr. Sam Kerr trying to show up her namesake and get on the score sheet early inside the opening half hour.
And yet again, Scotland are looking threatening. Matilda's just unable to clear effectively at the top of the 18-yard box. And Sam Kerr, she may not have been the expected Sam Kerr on the goal sheet, but she's certainly got an eye for it.
And they've won it back again high up the pitch there. Gorry with an important toe in there, but look, crowding around, and Hansen gets away with it. Mary Fowler wins it back. Looks for a difficult pass, but it falls kindly in the end for Courtney Vine. Cooney cross ahead of her. Vine taking off. It's Doherty with a strong challenge. Gorry following up, but it breaks for Hansen. And the Matildas have a game on their hand here.
It was a merciless challenge from Doherty, needed to be as well. Just transitional across the last few minutes. This possession perhaps lightly handed over. Looking for some of those more miracle passes. The Matildas, who more or less controlled the opening stanza of this first half, just feeling a little pinch of pressure these last few minutes.
Well, this is where you can be tested technically. You have to show how good you are on the ball, that you can play out under pressure, that you can find solutions. And Gorry hasn't been able to find one there. Picked off by Doherty again, who was following the ball into midfield, creating the extra numbers, where they are really outnumbering Cooney, Cross and Gorry at the moment. Here's Howard. Kerr with Howard again. And McCandy. Well, that's a good ball for Weir in between the lines. Outside with Emsley. Martha Thomas is in the middle. She's the target. Back post Hansen. Thomas now the cutback for Emma Watson. Well, very close to a goal on debut for the 17-year-old there.
Oh, yet again, Scotland is asking a few questions of the Matildas' defence here. The first touch from Watson was really delightful. Afforded herself just enough space to get a shot away, a little bit too much traffic. The Matildas continue to be under pressure here, and Scotland are looking really dangerous.
It was a block by Ellie Carpenter in the end, but Scotland have it back again. Kerr. Australia's furthest forward player, Cromer. There she is, back doing the defending. 35 metres out for her own goal, along with Mary Fowler. In this 4-4-2, 4-4-1-1 formation.
Well, it's a deep block we just saw there set up by the Matildas. Both Larissa Crum and Mary Fowler well in their own half. But it is the formation we've seen in recent games from the Matildas, setting up as a 4-2-3-1. Just as the game settles in and wears in, looks to be more of a 4-4-2. With the two players up top, in today's case, Crummer and Fowler, working together.
Well, we've seen it quite clearly. After the 22-23 minute mark, Scotland have forced Australia back onto the back foot.
They have, putting great pressure, finding good passes between the lines, and on a couple of occasions that Scotland have managed to do that, picking off 4 or 5 Matildas in one pass.
Brown, Hansen, flag, straight up for offside. Kirsty Hansen, who came off the bench against Wales in Spain for her 16th cap. Just the one goal, which came a couple of years ago now against Cyprus. Goals have been a problem for Scotland. Some big wins, but in the big games, they have struggled. That's a great turn from Hayley Rasso. Looking for Crummer, but not the right timing again of the pass, and now Weir managing to face forward. Martha Thomas doesn't like that call.
I don't think she agreed with that one so much. The outlet pass from Caroline Weir was really lovely. Good vision, good ball speed to find her nice and quickly, but you can see on the replay there that Thomas has come back from an offside position.
Very good officiating on the near side. Now Polkinghorne leading by example. Gets it back from Grant. Nice 1-2. Grant accelerates, forcing Hansen to chase her back. Crummer gets there, but she was trying to lay it into the path of Mary Fowler. It was a difficult one. Scotland failed to clear this time. Rasso, who switched flanks again with Vine. Hunt. Carpenter. Back with Cooney Cross. Well, she just got caught in two minds, caught in possession, but the throw, thought it was going to go Matilda's way. Fowler with Gorry. Just drawing in Emma Watson. Now Polkinghorne for Grant. That's a good ball for Vine. A little bit of space for her to try and accelerate. Fowler does well in the end to keep it in play. Carpenter. Carpenter again for Gorry. That's a good run from midfield. The Matildas getting some numbers forward. Doherty under pressure from Carpenter. Oh, and they've got out of jail there. It was a good press, but not good enough from the Matildas. And now Scotland look to go again. That's well defended by Claire Hunt.
Well-timed tackle there by Claire Hunt, and it had to be. Scotland were looking to transition quickly back at the other end after absorbing pressure for a while. And this will be a great test for Claire Hunt. up against the likes of Martha Thomas, as you mentioned, playing for Manchester United. Some of the quality coming out of the Women's Super League in England. Claire Hunt, who's spending time with the Western Sydney Wanderers in Australia, will really be tested both this afternoon and against England next week.
Weir with Emsley. The cross in is not a bad one. Hunt's header is good. And again, stepping in front of her captain, Polkinghorne. She provided an assist on debut, Claire Hunt. Now, a little 1-2, Fowler. Gorry, a slice of luck, but that's great desperation from Emma Watson. Fiona Brown now. Fowler does brilliantly. Good first touch from Vine as well. Could have just about been rewarded with a free kick there. Brown again. Watson. Intercepted by Grant. Howard now. You can hear Martinez Losa calling for that immediate counter press. As soon as they lose the ball, win it back, and it's been working for them. Can the Matildas break free of the shackles? Vine, that's a good ball for Crummer. Nice first touch as well. Looking for an option and just hesitated a moment.
It was a lovely ball from Vine to find the run of Crummer. But on that attacking play, and the wingers are driving in, whether that be Rasa, whether that be Vine, they need someone to come into their space out wide and look for that option, look for the pass. Crummer was on her way, but there was just clear green grass in front of Vine, and she didn't have an option, a simple pass to play to. Take nothing away from the quality of ball that she did deliver. The Matildas just in that final third looking a little bereft of ideas.
Fowler. Lovely little touch around Watson, but Crummer surrounded by 3 Scottish defenders. Can only get a glancing header, but that serves no purpose. Weir. Now Kerr. Over Weir, and Carpenter gets there. Polkinghorne. Now Martha Thomas. Good challenge, Polkinghorne. Watson gets there with Brown. Sam Kerr. The Australian Sam Kerr, who just sounded like she had a bit of a cold in the pre-match press conference, has also been playing an awful lot of football. Chelsea, who knocked out Olympique Lyonnais in the Champions League over 2 very tightly contested matches. They've been playing basically every 3 days for the last month. Sam Kerr, who scored her 50th WSL goal on the weekend as well. Just being rested as much as anything.
That's a huge amount of football, especially a team like Chelsea, and so much reliance on what Sam Kerr produces for that side. And really disappointing, of course, to see the injury to Caitlin Ford, but when you look at the volume of football that she too has been playing with the Matildas, with Arsenal, Champions League, FA Cup, that really does start to accumulate.
That's where the sports science can be so helpful. Lovely touch, Grant. Couldn't find Fowler. And then the foul by Katrina Gorry. There's also the injury to Steph Catley as well. Hopefully all of this will just be nothing but a bad memory in 3 months' time when the World Cup comes around.
Of course, Matilda's still without Alana Kennedy, Kaya Simon, and the terribly unfortunate injury to Elise Kellen-Knight, rupturing her Achilles.
As here comes Scotland again with Hansen. Yes, it's a growing injury list for the Matildas. The run from Thomas. Now Watson's early cross, back post. An important glancing header there from Kyra Cooney-Cross to take it away from Weir. Russo, I think she just got a word in the ear there. She was almost laughing as she ran away from her former teammate, Carolyn Weir. That's nicely done. Vine nudged off it in the box by McCandy. And you can see what was a high press in this situation in the first 10 minutes, not coming at the moment.
It was great counter-attacking play from the Matildas. Really good transition football, just that final pass, the strength from Courtney Vine. Just lacking on that occasion. Strong challenge coming through. But you're right, that little glancing header from Kyra Cooney-Cross needed to be there for the Matildas. Carolyn Weir was winding up just behind her, looking for that volley.
Now over the top for Hansen. One for her to chase. Mackenzie Arnold does well. Polkinghorne. Grant will make sure of these passes. And Polkinghorne under pressure. Just, and only just, wins the throw. See Mary Fowler's coming very, very deep, looking for the ball, but it's leaving Larissa Crummer isolated up front. Now she rejoins for the defensive phases. Cooney-Cross and Gorrie are really working very hard in the middle of the park, and a lot of the time chasing shadows. Kerr with Hansen. Most of it coming down this right-hand side now for Scotland. Strong challenge, Fowler. Russo with the last touch of the first half. A very, very competitive first half. A very tight first half as well on the pitch and on the scoreboard, where the Matildas had the better of the opening exchanges, but Scotland upped the ante midway through the half and came closest to opening the scoring. Half-time at Plough Lane. CommBank Matildas 0, Scotland 0. We're off to a quick break and we'll be back with the half-time show.
Welcome back to the Matildas v Scotland. It is the halftime show. Tara Rushton joined by Andy Harper. 0-0 at the moment at Plough Lane over in London. But Harps, it started really positively from a Matildas perspective. Ellie Carpenter looking fantastic. Courtney Vine full of pace. Hayley Rasso as well. But then it feels like Scotland really came into the game and started to outmuscle the Matildas off the ball.
It was a half, really, that the Matildas had no control over. It started well, and Ellie Carpenter and Courtney Vine showed great promise as a powerful athletic combination down the right-hand side. There wasn't a lot else that the Matildas can actually hang their hat on. Tony Gustafsson very evidently trying to get the girls to work on a press and get the transition going in the front half of the field. And Mary Fowler was working extraordinarily hard to try and join Larissa Crummer and force that error, and it worked to a certain extent. But as far as the football was concerned and who was playing the football, you'd have to say it was all Scotland. And the Matildas have got an awful lot of work to do at half-time to try and turn that part of it around.
They did turn up the screws, didn't they, Scotland? They outmuscled the Matildas, as I mentioned before, but even when it came to sloppy turnovers, Matildas were left really with some last-gasp defending, as you can see there.
Yeah, well, Claire Hunt does the block there. Ellie Carpenter, a rather panicked, hacked clearance thereafter. Carolyn Weir has been very, very dominant. The midfield for Australia, Katrina Gorry and Kyra Cooney-Cross have really struggled to get a grip of the game on the Matildas' behalf. And Scotland have looked a much better team in that first half.
So looking at the second half that approaches, looking at the Subway subs, who are you bringing on to inject that spark and start controlling the contest?
Yeah, well, I think they need Alex Chidiac, actually. She's done great off the bench. A lot of the girls did well in the 7-game winning streak, but this is a different scenario now. You know, they're really under the pump. But I think Alex Chidiac is the player who can maybe turn the dial for the Matildas a little bit, get a little bit more aggression in midfield, a little bit more possession in midfield, and take a bit of the load off Mary Fowler, who looks to be struggling because of the expectation to press. And we're not actually allowing Mary to play her game on top of that, which is a very creative game. So if an Alex Chidiac, just to share that load on that part of the field and maybe bring Mary Fowler's creative juices more to the fore, because that'll certainly help the Matildas if that can be achieved. Yeah,
Chids has been fantastic off the bench, as we did see in the Cup of Nations. All right, we are off to a short break. What can the Matildas muster in the second half against Scotland? On the other side, we'll hear from Lou Ranson and Scotland International and legend of the side, Jem Beattie, live from Plough Lane. Don't go anywhere.
open strongly. Greyskill only to be pegged back by a Scottish side that once they'd settled their early nerves, got into their game and then really put into place a very strong pressing game.
Well, it certainly looked as though...
Time to get the thoughts of Scotland legend Jen Beattie. Jen, what do you make of that first half?
I mean, as a Scottish supporter, I'm happy. I think we've started the game really well. Loads of opportunities. I think they'll be disappointed not to have capitalised on it, though. There was a few chances that I think Emma Watson had one, Martha Thomas had a couple. But look, a bright few minutes of spell, but way more to come. But look, for me, Aussies always look dangerous on a counter-attack, and I feel like there's just one maybe there in for them. But it's been an exciting game so far.
What does Australia need to do in this second half to put it maybe back in their favour?
Yeah, look, for me, I've said it, they're always strong on counter-attacks, but I guess just take care a little bit more in the final third. You know, they're getting the ball up there. It's just that last creating chances, creating a bit more clear-cut chances. And look, Polkinghorne's been scoring for set pieces in previous games, so I think if a set piece falls to them, they'll look dangerous on that as well.
And from a Scottish point of view, who do you expect to step up even further in this second half?
I think there was a spell of play I watched and Emma McCandy found Kyline Weir perfectly in the pocket, and then we got it out to Claire Emsley, a cross went in the box and a chance was created. For me, that Scotland nutshell, that's them and that's their template, so more of that to come. We saw one really good play of that, but there's plenty more from that.
Okay, well, big second half from the Matildas' point of view as well coming up, and it is not too far away.
Okay, well, thank you for those thoughts at half-time from former Scotland international Jen Beattie joining Lou Ransom there. A first half that the Matildas will be looking to improve upon. A first half in which they conceded, in the end, 4 shots at goal, and the only shot on target as well from Manchester United striker Martha Thomas that was palmed away by Mackenzie Arnold. More entries into the final third from Scotland. Ironically, more touches in the opposition box from the Matildas, though, who started so brightly, particularly down that right-hand side with Courtney Vine and Ellie Carpenter. So we're just awaiting the two sides to return for the start, and right on cue, there we go. The Matildas, led out by Hayley Russo and Ellie Carpenter. I think Mackenzie Arnold is already out there warming up. Grace, there's one of those Aussie fans in London that wants a Sam Kerr shirt. I'm sure she's not the only one.
Depends which Sam Kerr shirt she's asking for.
Which one would she have more chance of getting, I wonder? What did you make of the first half? I'll ask you again with a bit more time this time to answer it and get your thoughts, because it was a real battle for the Matildas, and perhaps one that we weren't expecting, certainly not after watching the first 15 minutes.
Well, that's right. The first 15, 20 minutes was really all Matildas. They weren't producing much in the way of the final third, but looked very comfortable on the ball, looked to be controlling possession, controlling touches. But then at about the 20, 25-minute mark, it was Scotland who came back into it in a bit of a flurry, put in some really physical challenges and just turned the momentum of the game back in their favour.
Yeah, that high press and showing those efforts, and Martha Thomas with that one effort on target, but then another couple of good efforts and finding space in the box as well. There's Carolyn Weir. She's been popping up all over the place with as close as you'd get to a free roll, I think, in that number 8 role. And there we can hear the Scottish fans will certainly be impressed with what they saw in the second half of that first half. So no changes by the looks of things for the Matildas at the break. And as Martha Thomas rejoins, there's Sam Kerr, the Scottish Sam Kerr, wearing the number 8, who does do quite a good Australian accent as well, as we heard on the Scottish FA's video earlier today. They were relaxed in camp, and they're showing but they know how to play very good football as well. Louise Thompson, our referee, with a blow on the whistle. The second half is underway. Grace, 3 months out from the World Cup. We know that this probably won't resemble the starting 11 in that first match on July 20th. Certainly we'll be hoping the likes of Sam Kerr, Caitlin Ford and Steph Catley are there. Perhaps Alana Kennedy as well, who's also missing. Kaya Simon, if she can continue to charge back. But it will need to be better in that opening game of the World Cup.
Yep, will need to be much improved for the Matildas should they look to make an impact against the Republic of Ireland on their opening game and to make the most of their chances.
As the header by Claire Hunt really invited Scotland onto the front foot early. Doherty trying to bend it towards that top corner. And the opening goal is for Scotland 60 seconds into the second half. An absolutely stunning strike. Just her second ever international goal from Nicola Doherty, the 30-year-old veteran.
What a delightful finish this is. It had some height about it. It had some loop underneath it, and Mackenzie Arnold has been caught off her line because that has well and truly just kissed the inside of the woodwork there and found its way into the back of the net. But the Matildas have been caught off guard here. Scotland finishing the first half and starting this second one with a great deal of momentum. It's a wonderful finish from Doherty.
And there will be no 12th clean sheet in a Matildas jersey for Mackenzie Arnold then. Scotland, who were ahead on points at half-time, are now ahead on the scoreboard as well. A looping effort that in the end gave Mackenzie Arnold basically no chance. But few would deny Scotland that opening goal on the balance of play.
Well, we were just talking about the Matildas needing to be better. Tony Gustafsson perhaps would have been a bit frustrated with that first 45 minutes. Needing to capitalise on their moments and their chances, and there was a somewhat poor header, poor clearance from the Matildas that then invited the pressure and the press from Scotland, who have worked really hard.
Hansen coming inside with Kerr. Crummer doing the chasing. Good interception by Hayley Russo. She is a player who can provide that spark. Gets it back from Crummer. The early cross. Vine was arriving in the middle. Fowler and Crummer, the second line.
Well, it was Hayley Russo who, as we mentioned, despite limited match minutes with Manchester City, had such an impact at the Cup of Nations earlier in the year against both Czechia and Spain for the Matildas. She was a live wire. Look, she'll be looking to inject her speed, her pace, and what she can provide to try and open this up for the Matildas.
Cooney Cross does just that, and off the crossbar. And it just bounced down in front of the goal line and not over it. Cooney Cross the switch, and Courtney Vine so close to an equaliser.
Well, Scotland saved there by the crossbar. Australia, the Matildas looking to respond quickly. So close for Courtney Vine.
Well, Courtney Vine scored that wonderful opening goal against Spain in the Cup of Nations. Cooney Cross taking over set-piece duties. It's a good ball in towards Polkinghorne. A glancing header, and now Hansen looking to break free. Her run covered by Fowler. Again, finding holes in that midfield. Emsley. Watson. Looking to get it back, but Katrina Gorry. Oh, she's been caught in possession. Emsley again. Cross back in, back post. Hansen is there. Danger for the Matildas. Good challenge by Grant. Courtney Vine charging out. And again, Charlie Grant with another strong and important challenge.
Well, testy times for the Matildas here. Some wayward touches. Not looking strong enough on the ball. They're getting muscled off by Scotland at the moment. Some good touches as well in the midfield. Sophie Howard looking tidy on the ball. And Scotland are just growing in stature as this game wears on.
Grant back with Polkinghorne. Oh, but the high turnover again. Watson's shot blocked. Matilda's had enough players back that time. Charlie Grant finding Fowler, looking for quick feet. She's won the throw.
Just slight moments of indecision, hesitation coming into challenges from the Matildas. Scotland are looking to capitalise and just pick up those loose balls in the middle of the park.
Gorry. Again, couldn't get away from Watson. Now Russo. Back for Katrina Gorry. Overlapping run from Carpenter. As Gorry comes back the other way, Crummer's touch is a clever one. Lovely touch for Fowler now. Brilliant stop from Gibson. And that's 2 chances in the last 5 minutes for the Matildas.
Oh, it was a class save from Gibson. She had to close the space, had to close the angle. But good, tidy touches from the Matildas. Good one-touch football. But perhaps Mary Fowler could have looked to lift that just over the incoming Lee Gibson. Sam Kerr takes a moment to get some treatment coming off that challenge.
Yeah, she certainly had a time and a good look at that one as well. And I think Sam Kerr's been collected by her own keeper, who came flying out. And she did have the opportunity, Mary Fowler, to add to her 9 international goals. You may have noticed a number of the players are wearing purple wristbands, purple tape on their left wrists. There, Sam Kerr is one of them. Nearly all the Matildas are as well. There you go, Ellie Carpenter. That's the FIFPro campaign that's running at the moment to raise awareness for other footballers who have to sacrifice and risk their careers to bring about change in the women's game. As it's hit hard and deflected and might fall for Crummer. She gets there first. And this is much better from the Matildas. Much, much better.
We forced another good save there from Lee Gibson, who had to be alert to the danger. The Matildas are starting to look a little bit more lively. Cooney Cross bearing down on that strike. Very, very technical player. We have seen her hit them from that kind of distance before. This is just starting to breathe a little bit of energy into the Matildas.
Final word on the purple wristbands. They're being worn by players all over the world during this international break as a symbol of equality and solidarity. Here's Emsley. Hunt under pressure, closed down so quickly by Weir. She has a great understanding, vision of the game, reading of the game. Grant. Great run, great use of the body to shield it away. She's still going. Courtney Vine. She has to just wait a moment. Cooney cross with Vine again. This is good football from the Matildas. Here's Claire Hunt deciding it's time for her first international goal. And how close was that? What a way that would have been to open your account from fully 30 metres out.
Oh, she's had a good look. It's just the top stanchion denying Claire Hunt for her first international goal. Scotland stood off, didn't put any pressure on her. Hunt looked up, assessed the options and thought, I'll have a go myself.
Back to Gibson. You can see the press coming, but it wasn't enough to put the keeper under pressure. Cooney cross towards Gorry. Ooh, she thought about trying to hit that one, thought better of it, but Weir has come away with the ball. Now they've got 3 forward all of a sudden. This game racing from one end to the other. Arthur Thomas prodding the ball just wide.
Oh, what a marvellous build-up there from Scotland. That's really pretty football. A driving run from Weir. This first-time ball inside of the left foot, rather, from Claire Emsley. That was a delightful first-time ball. Martha Thomas, she has tried to use the outside of her right foot, but that is a prime opportunity for Scotland.
And now we race straight up the other end again, because the Matildas have decided it's time to step on the accelerator. Rasso with a great cutback for Vine. Well, the chances are really starting to stack up now.
End-to-end stuff. Marvellous run from Hayley Rasso. Does really, really well to cut that back and pick out Courtney Vine. The timing of her run was good. The late arrival into the box. Just couldn't quite direct that one goalward. This is really end-to-end at the moment.
It really is like the Matildas were just sparked into life by that Doherty goal for Scotland. You can't say it came against the run of play, but it has brought a complete change in mentality, in attitude and approach from the Matildas, who have been forced out of their shell and have now hit the crossbar twice, drawn a couple of saves, and are looking much more likely to get on the score sheet in the last 6-7 minutes. Gorry, and you can see the difference it makes. It's now Scotland that are being forced back, playing much deeper. The trick in football is to make the most of this moment when the tide has changed in your favour. Fowler. Oh, she hesitated with the cutback, but Vine has closed it down, and Gorry is the latest to try her luck from distance.
A wry smile there from Fiona Brown, but Katrina Gorry, well, that is well and truly Gorry territory. Just outside the 18-yard box, a little look up, leaning slightly back, but you can see the Matildas wanting to start with this high press. Mary Fowler and Larissa Crummer just lining up outside the 18-yard box. They're not allowing Scotland any breathing room.
Thomas not down with Weir, so quick with Doherty. Hunt under pressure. Doherty, one of a number of players who play with Rangers, but one of even more who have played with Glasgow City, the really dominant club in women's football in Scotland. Rangers won the league last time, but that only after a number of years of Glasgow City dominance. Rasso hits it well. The mistake by Gibson and the recovery by Gibson, and now Carpenter looking to score on her return to international football. Goal kick. Carpenter just asking if it may not have just crossed the line.
Well, it had some good shape on the strike from Hayley Rasso. And again, Scotland not quick enough to close down the Matildas players in the middle of the park. We saw the strike moments earlier from Claire Hunt, and now Hayley Rasso with time to look up, shift the ball onto her preferred right foot. The Matildas here are gearing up for a first change of the afternoon and talking about injecting a bit of energy into the side.
Well, we heard the talk of who would you bring on at half-time. Andy Harper suggested Alex Chidiac. Well, his wishes are going to be answered here with the Racing Louisville midfielder. Came off the bench in their opening match of the season 2 weeks ago. There's Gorry. Strong challenge by Doherty. We also saw Courtney Nevin preparing to come into the game as well. Plays a football for Leicester. And would be a possible left back for Charlie Grant, or perhaps even in the centre of defence. Physical player who will answer that question. Here's another one in Kairakuni cross with Fowler. Gorry, lovely little shimmy to open it up on the right-hand side. Rasso, overlapping run from Carpenter, not released. Gorry again. Grant for Vine. Courtney Vine against Brown. Vine still. Fowler hits it first time. Well, that's what Mary Fowler can provide as well, something unexpected.
Well, she is such a technical player. It was a great driving run from Courtney Vine, and the first time strike from Fowler. Again, just couldn't get her chest quite over the ball, but it's those moments that Fowler can be so spectacular in.
Ellie Carpenter, it is who's come off, so in her return to action with the Matildas, she makes way, so I suspect that will mean Charlie Grant moves to right back, Courtney Nevin to left back, and Larissa Crummer is coming off, replaced by Alex Chidiac. Now we'll see, and just see Mary Fowler there suggesting to Courtney Vine, you come up top now. And Chidiac will move into one of those wide midfield roles. Certainly not going to be like for like between Alex Chidiac and Larissa Crummer. You can see Chidiac has moved to the left side of midfield. Vine back inside with Fowler. Rasso gets there. Cooney cross. Chidiac's little touch, trying to poke it through all the way through to Gibson, who has produced a couple of good saves and had a heart-in-mouth moment herself there. Lee Gibson, one of those Glasgow City veterans, 9 times Scottish champion. Lee Gibson. Polkinghorne with Hunt. Strong into the challenge.
Well, unsurprising to see a couple of changes, some fresh legs. Ellie Carpenter, perhaps one of those players too whose load and minutes are being managed in what is a heavy schedule with Lyon. And Alex Chidiac, as we've mentioned, just the energy, the impact she brings. Tony Gustafsson speaks about game changers.
Well, here she is, Alex Chidiac pouncing on that loose pass, and Chidiac shot! And I think Gibson may have just got a fingertip to that as well to turn it around the post. Chidiac almost changing the game with the first touch.
Well, agonisingly close for Alex Chidiac. It has just taken a slight deflection, but immediately positions herself well, picks up a loose ball in the midfield and drives straight towards the goal.
And it's another chance for the Matildas. Courtney Nevin with that left foot comes across to take the substitute. There's the signal, both arms raised, and it comes near post. Cleared by Sam Kerr. How much longer before we see the second Sam Kerr? And I'm just starting to wonder if we will, given the fact that we've now only got 25 minutes left. Fowler. Back. Tony Gustafsson said he was going to be careful with Sam Kerr's minutes just because she was a little run down and tired. She played in that Champions League tie against Olympique Lyonnais.
In 10 minutes, Jamie and Brogan both.
Ellie Carpenter also played the full 120 minutes a week and a half ago. That ended in heartbreak for Lyon, of course, as we're going to see changes now. And it's Chelsea Cornett who comes on, so one debutante replaces another. 24-year-old Rangers teammates. Hemsley also off, and Lauren Davidson comes into the game.
You've got to say it's an impressive performance by the 17-year-old in Emma Watson, and a great shift for her national team. And to be replaced, as you say, Robbie, by another debutante in Chelsea Cornett, another Rangers player.
"24 years of age, Cornett." There she was, immediately into the action. The number 22 chasing around Alex Chidiac. The number 19, Lauren Davidson, who's been amongst the goals. Scored against the Philippines in their second to last outing in the Pinatar Cup in Spain, where it was a loss to Iceland by 2-0, a 2-1 win over the Philippines, and a 1-1 draw with Wales. Next up, Costa Rica for Scotland. Grant looking in behind. Number of passes have just been underhit this evening. Thomas with Kerr. Back with Doherty, whose goal separates the two sides at the moment. Cooney Cross picking out Chidiac. Nevin. Cooney Cross might fancy it from distance. Oh, she scored a screamer late last year with her club side Hammarby. She's played every minute of the season so far, including beating her national team teammates at Vizio in the opening game.
Well, she's another one who has that long-range effort in her locker as well with Hammarby. We've seen a few of those in Australia. The Melbourne victory, Kyra Cooney Cross. Well, and truly been a key player in the domestic league in Australia.
Chidiac on the charge again. She decided to try and run it through the heart of the Scottish defence. Rasso. You can see her looking after that left hand. Trying not to get it landed on, and she picked up a knock on the right ankle there, I think, as well. Hayley Rasso. Doherty looking long with Hansen. Clever little touch from Martha Thomas for Weir. Nevin's header over Davidson. Brown back inside. Now Weir. Well, Polkinghorne spotting the danger immediately, coming in very quick, but Nevin's return pass wasn't the easiest to try and negotiate.
Yeah, a little unkind there from Nevin, asking Polkinghorne to deal with the pass at such close range, but Polkinghorne quick to close down the danger, which was Caroline Weir, storming up the field once more. She's been excellent this evening for Scotland.
Chidiac fouled from behind. Only just. by Davidson. Scotland have it back again with Kerr. Hansen turns it over. Cooney cross back with Hunt. Polkinghorne. Nevin with Chidiac. She'll need to find an option. She's forced back again, and Polkinghorne, confronted by 3 Scotland players, could only turn it over. But now Chidiac, the chance to break forward. Grant has got Russo ahead of her. It's over. Hit as she tries to dribble her way through, but she got it back for a moment. Mary Fowler, she's got a good left foot. Ambitious. She had options outside her as well. Weir really is the player that dictates the pace and the tempo of Scotland's game, as well as its direction and just about everything else. Hansen back with Doherty. Candy with Howard, and now Sam Kerr, which does sound strange every time we call it. When she comes on, we'll say the Sam Kerr.
And rightly so. I think Sam Kerr for Scotland has done a really sound job this evening too. Just looking to shadow in at the base of everything. Screen in front of her 2 centre halves.
Weir quickly gets there first again. Hansen, Doherty. Oh, just double teamed by Russo and Cooney cross. Hayley Russo picks up a yellow card for troubles there.
Referee Louise Thompson pointed to it. I think what might have been another incident as well. So suggested to Hayley Russo for accumulation on those fouls. But this will be a great opportunity for Scotland to load up, get some good numbers in the box. And unsurprising to see Caroline Weir standing over this set piece. And what is a wonderful left foot that she has.
So the yellow card for Russo to go with the yellow card for Candy. Weir delivers. Gorry's header. Gorry's got the ball, but dangerously heads all the way back towards her own penalty box again. Cooney cross. She's been better in the second half.
Yep, really settled on the ball, Cooney cross. She does so well just to create space and time for herself. Really good vision and awareness. And I think to Scotland's credit, they've done a really great job at making life difficult for Katrina Gorry in the middle of the park. And they would have identified that so much of Australia's attack comes through Katrina Gorry, but that hasn't been the case today. I think for the likes of Caroline Weir and the players in and around that attacking part of the field for Scotland have been very physical in on Gorry.
There is Gorry. Courtney Vine couldn't bring it down. Just to give you an idea of how this second half has gone. Oh, as Gorry is caught in possession. Breaking away now, Hansen. There's space on the right-hand side. Weir arriving. Hansen still shoots at the second attempt, and it's a strong left hand from Mackenzie Arnold to turn the ball behind. And the Matildas almost caught out there.
Oh, Hansen has worked tirelessly this afternoon. She's one of those players who has been getting stuck in. She found the run of Carolyn Weir, who I did think on that left foot may have unleashed, but Hansen in a good position with that shot. Just steered over the crossbar from Mackenzie Arnold, who again hasn't had a huge amount to do this evening, but has been called upon on a couple of occasions now.
Well, the statistics in this second half, that's just the third shot for Scotland against 12 in the second half for the Matildas. But they almost added a second goal. Mackenzie Arnold's punch. Hansen back again. Howard, the nod down. Now Martha Thomas. Straight at Mackenzie Arnold again, who looks to release quickly. One for Vine to chase. Now one-on-one, at least in this wide area. Now for Grant. She needs support in the middle, though. There's nobody there. She does well with Hayley Russo. Now Gorry. The Matildas need to try and break down this Scotland defence because they're back in numbers. Here's Cooney Cross. Her cross towards Fowler. Gorry gets there. Martha Thomas bundled over in the back plate. Gorry again. Cooney Cross back with Grant. Good switch for Polkinghorne. Try and give it some air. Tease out. Scottish defence. The cross in into a great area. And Doherty not taking any chances. Corner.
Well, it's patient build-up from the Matildas, just assessing options. Looking for runners in the box, of which that occasion there weren't too many, but Doherty takes no chances to see that one out. There's 4 Scottish shirts to 2 of the Australian Blues. Not much in the way of Matilda's options, looking to get on the end of that ball from Courtney Nevin.
6th corner of the contest for the Matildas. We need a goal now. 1 goal to remain undefeated in this current run. 2 unanswered to continue the winning streak. In it comes. Oh, Claire Hunt just mistimed her jump there. Polkinghorne back towards Hunt. He misses it. Russo will get there though. Hunt again. Hits it again. She's already hit the crossbar from further out than that.
Substitution for Scotland, number 10, Kirsty Hansen. Place by number 23, Jamie Napier.
Well, Kirsty Hansen is coming off to be replaced by Jamie Lee Napier, who has just turned 23. And she comes into the game for just her 2nd international appearance. Debuted against the Philippines last month, or in February.
Well, that is quite a shift from Kirsty Hansen this afternoon. As I mentioned just moments ago, worked tirelessly. She was one of the players putting really physical efforts on Katrina Gorry, tracking back when needed. Had a great opportunity for Jamie Lee Napier to get a bit more international football. She did have a short stint at Chelsea, so familiar to that of the Australian Sam Kerr, but couldn't solidify herself in the Chelsea squad, and understandably so, given the quality in that side. And that battle continues in the midfield between Katrina Gorry and Caroline Weir. Gorry just a little frustrated.
Jamie Lee Napier, who now plays a football right here in London with the London City Lionesses. Thomas. Kerr again, who's had an excellent match. As you mentioned, Grace, there have been a number of standout performers, and particularly from the Matildas' point of view, in a much better second half, an enjoyable second half to watch. The side taking the game to Scotland. chasing the game. They had to wait to fall behind, really. Katrina Gorry claiming that she got the ball, not the player. As Howard looks along the big switch towards Napier. Can't get her first touch. Grant with Gorry. Looking long to try and release Chidiac. Good challenge, Cooney Cross. Mary Fowler. Rasso, again isolated on this near side. 10 minutes left for the Matildas to find at least one goal to get back on level terms. This run of 7 consecutive wins is in danger. The ball in and claimed by Gibson. Since that double defeat on home soil against Canada.
It was a high ball in from Alex Chidiac. And yet again, Lee Gibson has come out to claim comfortably. Hayley Rasso, look, she still sends herself into these challenges bravely. But when asked, Lee Gibson this evening has stood up really well for Scotland, made some key saves.
There's a player who has no fear for her own body. It is the player coming off, Hayley Rasso, and a very experienced Tamika Yallop comes into the game with a little note of instructions.
Charlie, send it back. Big. Good. When we attack,
So we've just seen the tactical change.
we split the midfield in attack. Double 9, a lot of crosses. Let's go, Mary. Up.
You could just hear Tony Gustafsson there with the tactical change. So Tamika Yallop to right back. Charlie Grant into the centre of defence. And Claire Hunt up front. 2 9s, 2 number 9s, and lots of crosses. Let's get it into the tall timber.
Well, that was the instruction, double 9, a lot of crosses. And this is a tactic we have seen the Matildas deploy before when Alana Kennedy was in the side, sending Kennedy up to try and get her on the end of some deliveries into the box. Tall players looking to get on the end of crosses, long balls. So we may see for the last few minutes of this game, Australia looking to chase. And just a tactical shift, trying to turn Scotland on their heels for the last 8 or so minutes that remain here.
Well, they have tried to break Scotland down and done it well, especially in that period just following the goal where they hit the crossbar twice, where Gibson made a series of saves where it could so easily have been 1, 2 or even 3 goals for the Matildas. And now, with 7 minutes left plus stoppage time, and if you imagine that this is the World Cup scenario, tournament mode that we've been learnt to think about as Cooney Cross tries it, but didn't have enough space really to open up on the right boot.
The official attendance at today's match is 2,136. Thank everyone for coming out this morning. The CommBank is
2,136 in attendance, and a couple of cheers, whoops of satisfaction from the 2,000 plus in attendance.
The real test now for Scotland is how they can manage this game out, control the minutes, slow things down, or rather, look to build on their lead.
I think Napier's instinct was to go, and then she heard your comments ringing in her ears, Grace, so she thought, you're absolutely right, let's slow things down. Davidson, she decides to run and attack and almost picked out rear with the cutback. Gorry, there was that little cheap turnover between Fowler and Gorry that set Scotland on their way then. As it stands, in this 5th meeting between these two sides, it will be a 2nd win for Scotland. to go with 2 draws and 1 win for the Matildas. Fowler's glancing header, but they have to be aiming for Claire Hunt for the glancing headers and have players running off her. Hunt goes to put the pressure on Gibson. Another substitution coming for Scotland with Brogan Hay preparing to come into the game. 24 years of age, another in this, not changing of the guard, because there are a number of experienced players who are just missing with injury at the moment for Scotland, but it's an opportunity and a chance to blood in new players, have a look at them, call them back in future whenever it's necessary. And she's coming in up front for Martha Thomas. Fourth change for Pedro Martinez Losa. Martha Thomas very close to scoring the first goal of the match, and then very close to scoring a wonderful goal with that incredible outside of the foot control and volley towards the far corner in a first half in which Scotland dominated. Carolyn Weir saying that has to be in Australia's half of the field. In the end, Mackenzie Arnold launches long. Glancing header. Fowler for Chidiac. Against Napier. Tricky little customer, Chidiac. Cooney cross with Fowler. Lovely turn. That was brilliant from Fowler. The pass can't find Gorry, though. Now Yallop with Grant. Nevin. Little 1-2 with Vine. Just squeezes away from Gorry. Davidson. Looks like she's moved into that central striking role with Hay on the right wing.
Moments for Scotland that they need to be so disciplined. And Matilda's just throwing every player, everybody.
Defended as far as Fowler. Cross back in, back post. Plenty of blue shirts in there for the Matildas. Nevin can't win it back. Polkinghorn has it. Polkinghorn trying to pass through the middle towards Chidiac. Desperate defending from McCandy. Sam Kerr with Napier. Napier's done well to hold onto the ball there. Doherty. It's still her goal. Into the top corner. From outside the box. That is the difference. Into the last minute of regulation time.
Get up. Ready to get up. Ready to get up. Handball again.
You can hear Gustafsson thought it was a handball. The cutback towards Brogan Hay. Only just into the game. Again, Weir was the creator. And now urgency from the Matildas as they try to go charging up the other end.
Well, it was a lovely, lovely cutback from Caroline Weir. And Hay arriving on the spot. With just a little bit too much force and couldn't keep that one down. And the Matildas just driving everything they have in these last moments You can hear the shouts, the yells of Tony Gustafsson, his volume increasing as the urgency does to match.
Strong from Davidson, who wants the free kick, and she gets it. 4 minutes of stoppage time have just begun.
Does it feel like a long 4 minutes for Scotland?
For a Matildas side, this 4 minutes will go very, very quickly.
4 minutes, let's go get one. 4 minutes. Push, gamble.
Well, you can hear the Matildas coach telling them, and then here you go, let's go, right up the other end.
Well, the shouts from Tony Gustafsson to gamble. The instruction just to throw caution into the wind. The Matildas needing to claim something from this game.
Grant forward, but it's picked off in the middle of the park. That's a strong follow-up challenge on Weir. And Cooney Cross is there to help out. Now Nevin for Cooney Cross. Looks up, looks long. The Matildas, who have really failed after that opening 15 minutes to get Courtney Vine into running in behind, to use that pace that was causing problems in the first 15 minutes. It is such a weapon.
That's why we mentioned the absence of Steph Catley, Caitlin Ford, and the success they have on normally the left-hand side for the Matildas, attacking threat, and without them on a few occasions the Matildas just struggling for ideas, not quite having a final product.
Free kick goes Scotland's way, and immediately medical staff called on for Sam Kerr, who has battled so hard for everything. There's a clash of heads with Polkinghorne that you can see there. That will soak up another couple of minutes. Well, they're very happy with Pedro Martinez Losa, who's got a largely Scottish assistant coaching staff, but there's a certain Tanya Oxtoby there as well, who is an Australian. Also spent time as assistant coach for the under-20 Australian women. Former Bristol City. Also works at Chelsea as well. So
Last minute, 1 minute, folks. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Perth Glory fans will remember her. Perhaps a little bit of inside information as well, which helped plan what has been a tactically very astute performance from Scotland. Cooney Cross being fouled by Davidson. It'll be another one to look long. The 4 minutes of stoppage time are about to finish. Again, Weir comes to take it from the right spot. Oh, remarkable. In a friendly right to the very end. Carolyn Weir not giving anything away. And the referee gets the yellow card out. You can see what it means, though. No such thing as a friendly. Long from Arnold. Glancing header, Polkinghorne. But again, no one running off. The Matildas had numbers forward, but not numbers creating danger. So much talk always about Sam Kerr and her role. In the press conference yesterday, she spoke so well about the legacy the Matildas will hope to leave. And the image of Kathy Freeman that left an indelible mark in a generation of Australians. She also spoke about the resistance of this Matildas side and how hard they've had to work for everything they have, and how they want to take that into the World Cup in 3 months' time. But this afternoon, here in London, belongs to Scotland. A very hard-fought 1-0 victory, courtesy of Nicola Doherty's only goal of the game in the 47th minute, right into the top corner, catching out Mackenzie Arnold. But it did spark a fantastic return and fight back from the Matildas, who ended up having 17 shots at goal, hitting the woodwork twice, drawing a couple of fine saves from Lee Gibson. But it's not our Sam Kerr who's smiling this afternoon. It's Scotland's Sam Kerr. A great win for them, for the world number 23 over the world number 10. Let's head straight down to Lou Ransom on pitch side.
Ellie, disappointed with the result, of course, I'm sure, today, but congratulations on your return to the national team. How did it feel out there with the kit back on?
Thank you. Yeah, obviously disappointed. We wanted to win this game. We had a lot of chances. I guess we just need to be a bit more clinical in the front third. Yeah, but disappointed.
And the body, how's it feeling? Tony suggested that you've come back stronger than you were before. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. I've had some good months at club in Lyon, and here obviously my first game, and looking forward to the big game on Tuesday against England.
And it's a different backline that you've come back into. How did you find that adjustment today?
Yeah, look, I think the girls have been doing great, and wherever I'm put, I'm just trying to do the best for the team and help win. For me, I'm just trying to bring my qualities and, yeah, be Ellie.
Go well on Tuesday, we see you there.
Thank you.
Ellie Carpenter back in the green and gold. It had been 360 days since she had been back on the pitch with the national team. 61 minutes from her on the right-hand side of defence. You could see it was peppered with disappointment, though, Andy Harper, that the Matildas' 7-game winning streak has come to a halt, and a big halt at that when you look at that performance against the world number 23 Scotland, who well and truly did their work on the women in green and gold.
Yep, congratulations to Scotland. To the victor, the spoils. They're going to develop into a good team. They've got some great players.